Oh yeah, here we go. Better in writing. You've spoken about organizational techniques, but I wondered if you could speak to on whether or not you allow chaos into your shop at all. Let's just start there. Chaos is not something I allow or don't allow into the shop. It is a part of the process of making things creatively. Yeah, I really think that. I think it's an emergent property of making things creatively is a bit of chaos. There's part of me, one of my favorite painters in the world is Rene Magritte, a surrealist from Paris in the early part of the 20th century. And there's a famous shot of Magritte. Magritte made these beautiful paintings. You know his paintings, the man with that green apple in front of his face. And they're my favorite surrealist paintings. Absolutely, Magritte is my favorite surrealist. And his paintings have a gravity and a gravity to them that is really remarkable, even more so by the fact that I have seen a picture of his studio and it was a corner of his apartment in Paris. Like he painted on an easel in the corner of an apartment. And the idea of having just that, an easel in the corner as your full artistic infrastructure sounds heavenly to me. My shop is mostly chaos. What I am doing all the time is attempting to beat it back, but I am constantly unsuccessful. It is a process. I'm reminded that Angus MacLane, director of Lightyear and many other wonderful Pixar things, has an axiom. He says, your movie wants to be bad. Your movie's dying to be bad, and your goal as a director is to keep it from being bad, but it's going to take every opportunity to be bad, and you've got to steer it away from that. I feel the same way about chaos here in the shop. And so I just want to say, questions like this tell me that I'm giving maybe even still too rosy a picture of how well things function here. I want to tell you, the table right behind the camera is such a shit fight right now. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tools on it. And I have to address it. I have to clear everything off this table and put it back on and make it work for me again. Because right now, the only tool that is reasonable to use is the little bandsaw, and I need more functionality out of that table. I will also tell you that my first order retrievability stack over here of all the drill bits and reamers and end mills and Forstner bits and calipers and screwdrivers and stuff is also falling to pieces. Like the whole top of it is, again, you could take a picture of that too, just to show the full ignominy here. There's a bunch of infrastructure I need to deal with in here. In fact, I just made this list because I finally realized I have been going to a Sortimo drawer right there, about 6 feet away from me, for my Dremel stuff. And I keep a Proxxon Dremel down here. But I realized even that's too far. So I'm actually, later after the live stream, I'm going to move my Dremel, all the Dremel support, into one of the drawers under the workbench here because I need it that frequently. And it's taken me a long time to realize that's too far, that I need it right here. It's all part of a process. Do I keep any sets of tools or areas of my shop in a chaotic state for any reason? No, but I mean, there's a method to the madness behind all the table surfaces behind me. They're all meant to keep certain projects alive in my head, which is why everything doesn't get immediately packed up and packed into bins as soon as I'm done working on it. And then there's like the kind of slightly unsortables, like here. I recently was unhappy with my selection of springs, so I spent a night on eBay looking at, this is a great thing. This is a truly great thing. One of my favorite search terms to add to an eBay search is LOT, L-O-T, which is frequently used when someone who strips machinery equipment apart will tend to, at the end of a couple of weeks of doing that, take all the switches and sell them as a lot. And lot is a great keyword to use. I'm giving you one of my favorite eBay secrets. So I was searching for assorted springs lot, which is definitely a way to not get the prepackaged springs that every hardware store will sell you and are only somewhat useful. This is like somebody's lifetime of stripping things apart, a bunch of compression and tension springs in here, plus a few torsion springs. It's a great assortment. And I recently expanded my springs from 1 drawer to 2, compression and extension. And I still haven't gotten around to sorting this into them. So it sits here to kind of goad me into that. Even down to this bench is like there's a stack of drill bits I haven't yet sized to go back into their drawers. And I'm bad about that. I end up with there's a whole bin of them, probably 20. And so about every 3 months, I take out some calipers and I figure out which drawers everything goes into and I put it away. But chaos is everywhere. I would say chaos is the enemy, but it's like saying the weather's the enemy. It's literally just part of the process. And I'm also in the middle of we traveled a whole bunch over the late summer and early fall, and I only feel like I've been regularly back into the shop in the last couple of weeks. And so I'm beating back the hordes of accumulated detritus over there. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support us even further, you can by becoming a tested member. Details are, of course, below, but it includes all sorts of perks, and we're building them all the time. You get advanced word and behind-the-scenes photos of some of our projects. Questions, you get to ask direct questions during my live streams, and we have some members-only videos, including the Adam real-time series of unbroken, unedited shots of me working here in the shop. They are weirdly meditative. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you on the next one.